Hello everyone, today I'd like to introduce advertising evolution and the hidden logic. So first, let me show you some advertising slogans. I believe everyone is no stranger to these advertisements, but in fact, these advertisements became popular at the end of the 20th century to the beginning of the 21st century. However, for me and my classmates around me, we are all quite familiar with these advertisements, and there seems to be no so-called generation gap. Then, when I think back, in the advertisements in our teenagers' era, I found that, surprisingly, there were none that are well known. Why is it? Nowadays, self-media is becoming increasingly developed. Shouldn't our information dissemination become more convenient? So today, combining my interest in advertising in life, due to this question, I'd like to share some of my observations and my summaries to you all. First, let's talk about the characteristics of advertisements in the past. After researching online, I discovered that the advertising communication in the past mainly relied on televisions, newspapers, and radios, featuring a centralized dissemination. For instance, in the past, advertisements were usually shown at prime time every day on China Central Television, which can reach the entire nation. And it is precisely because of this centralized model that may test the soul of advertisements. This type of centralized model pursues concepts and communicative slogans paired with simple visuals. Also, advertisements in the past were usually shown at fixed time every day on TV, which help us form a collective memory. And this clearly explains the reason why people in the modern society are still familiar with these advertisements. Now, let's talk about today's advertising formats. Does everyone share this sentiment that teenagers nowadays have get used to use their own mobile phones to receive information? They no longer sit in front of televisions to watch TV programs every day at fixed time. Instead, CCTV is still popular among elderly people of our grandparents' generation, who still remains the habit of obtaining information through TV programs. And this is because, with the fast-paced lives, people in the modern society have get used to use fragmented time to scroll through our phones. People in the modern society have no patience to scroll through our phones and to watch an entire video. And this directly leads to the popularity of many short video ads. Now, the second part is that the product placements in TV shows and movies has been more broadly. Recently, I've been obsessed with watching stand-up comedy, and I discovered the performances on the stage, they can naturally slip in products ads. And take my own viewing point as an example. Each time this type of soft advertisements pops out, I don't feel quite annoyed at all. Instead, it transforms into a unique punchline. Advertising in the modern society are no longer awkward promotions. Instead, and that is the representative trend of the soft advertisements. Nowadays, soft advertisements has becoming more and more integrated into our funny shows, variety shows, and movies. And these are the evidence that shows soft advertisements has taken a more dominant position in our everyday life. Now, let's make a short summary. All of the things that I've just mentioned are the transformation of soft advertising forms, which in the past, it aims for national memorability, but nowadays, it pursues precise resonance. This type of soft advertisements provides personalized and diverse content, which also adapts to the fast-paced lives. Nowadays, advertising has long moved beyond the single framework of luxurious scenes and celebrity endorsement. Instead, it focuses on every vivid individuals embracing the richness and diversity with a more inclusive and down-to-earth attitude. And this type of inclusion inspired by advertising isn't a distant concept. It can be found in our growth as students in the international department. We may be the group that can best feel the charm of diversity. This inclusion and diversity not only exist on screen, but also take roots in our personal development. Interestingly, many of our campus activities are just like a micro practice that show new advertising concepts. For instance, at Model United Nations, we transformed into diplomas from different countries. And this practice of speaking for diverse identities mirrors exactly how advertising respects every unique identity in the world to build bridges of dialogues. Similarly, in the Linguistic Club, we enthusiastically decode the culture code behind words. And this is so similar to those advertisements that shows culture diversity, making us deeply understand others while clarifying who I am. If advertising uses lenses to capture reality, we experience this firsthand through participation. These unique experiences make us deeply realize that inclusion is never an empty slogan. When we see the world through different perspectives, the real respect of uniqueness and differences is the very practice of crossing boundaries and understanding differences. The connection of being seen and respected is precisely